I'm here with Isaac, who's one of the organizers of the show. Thanks so much for chatting with us.
Yeah, no problem.
So tell me about the industry, I mean, and the whole sports card industry. Like, I've heard that the pandemic was huge for you guys. What happened during the pandemic?
I guess you're locked in your house and you start going through stuff, you find cards, like, ooh, cards. And it's just like, it was just an interesting thing. The hobby, like, 10x, it was just like, overnight, it seemed like within, like, overnight, it was just boom. Like, there was a huge peak, and then it obviously came down from that a little bit, but it's so much higher, so much higher than it was pre-pandemic still.
And have you seen a lot of companies, a lot of cards, a lot of new things in the last couple of years to kind of meet that interest?
Yeah, there's a lot of new companies, a lot of new dealers, a lot of different things with different companies coming in, innovating, bringing in new products.
And I'm sure this show is just part of that. I mean, you guys didn't have this before the pandemic, but seeing that demand.
That is correct. It wasn't a thing before the pandemic, and then 2 years after about, we started it.
And I'm sure there are a lot of these smaller regional shows that are popping up across the country, right?
Yeah, there's quite a few bigger ones like this size, but there's probably dozens every weekend across the country of like 20 to 120 tables. We host shows in Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa that are about 100 to 150, 200 tables. There's shows about every weekend, within probably a 2-3 hour drive of you.
And I've heard that there are some national shows that bring in tens of thousands of people.
So the National, it was in Cleveland this year. They bring in about 100,000 people to wherever they end up going.
What is the draw for so many people that are getting into sports cards? Why is it growing?
Some people, it brings back your childhood. It's a good way to collect the people you watch on TV every Sunday, or if it's football Sunday, basketball and baseball every day sometimes. Obviously a lot of people in here talking with each other, making friends, hanging out, traveling together.
And I'm seeing people of all ages. I mean, just looking out there, I'm seeing some people in their 50s, 60s, but I'm seeing some kids out there.
There'll be little 2-year-olds and people in their 80s or 90s coming out, looking for all different sorts of things. Some people like looking through boxes, some people like $50,000 cards.
Yeah, that's part of what we're going to be talking about with this episode, is some of those big pricey cards and learning more about what makes a card valuable versus not. I mean, I'm sure there's just so much to learn for people that are coming into this.
If you try to jump in too fast, you'll probably get a little overwhelmed. You got to start slow and kind of learn and figure out what you like to collect.
Well, thanks so much for chatting with us. We're going to walk around the floor and talk to some more people, hear some stories, but thank you so much for hosting us.
No problem.